Stills here with Tapped In, and today we have Andre Freire. Did I say that right, Andre? Hopefully I did.
Yeah,
Awesome. So
was
nice to
good. Was
have
good.
you. Really excited to get to know you a little bit. We've seen you around. We've seen your students around at the competitions, and we want to get to know you a little bit and get to know more about Carlson Gracie Tucson. Um, so a couple questions. And first, let's start with how did you get into jujitsu? Because, like, how did this all start for you?
So jiu-jitsu started like most of the people start. I was I was a little bit out of shape and trying to figure out something that could me give me some health, you know, lifestyle. And I hate to work out. And jiu-jitsu like with the gi on seems like that thing sweat a lot. And so I always was a martial art fan. I started doing martial arts since I was a kid, karate,
Hmm.
capoeira. I did a little bit MMA before I start jiu-jitsu. And then jiu-jitsu was like pretty much because I had like some time off without exercise and I was out of shape. And then, okay, I got to go back to something. And jiu-jitsu was my option uh,
Hmm.
20 years ago.
20 years ago. And
Yeah.
you stuck with it this long, and now you're a professor. And when did you start up the school? And how did that all come about?
So yeah, I teach since my purple belt. Back in the day, we had some opportunities to teach. It has purple belt, has brown belt. We didn't have as much black belts like we have day nowadays, and it was opportunity for me when I was purple to start teaching a small place in Brazil, a small gym, and since that, uh, I was working with teaching jiu-jitsu and also has a personal training, and I took that uh, my pretty much my entire career since I graduated and everything was like a teaching. And I
Hmm.
moved to US 6 years ago. And right away, 3 months after that, I be able to start teach and start like a training my English. And pretty much, and then I'm here with my school that was open 2 years ago. We just made it 2 years in May. And so we are doing very well over here.
Yeah,
So
congratulations.
thank you. We reach like over 200 students, and we are now fighting for 300. It's next goal
Awesome. Love to hear it. Well, I have to come visit you guys eventually.
for
Um,
sure. We'll be welcome.
Thank you. Well, so you went from not liking to work out to loving working out because of jujitsu, and then because you said a personal trainer too. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. And now here you are running a full-time jujitsu school. You're also an active competitor. I've seen
Yes.
you. You were just
Yeah.
at Masters, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So this year I did 6 competition this year. Like I was one every month, pretty
Wow.
much. Got some good results, some okay results, like some up and downs, like competitive life. But was the first semester for me was very good. So it's a little bit challenge, for me now because I have to run the business, training my students, training myself, have to be energized all day to teaching. So it's a little bit tricky to manage the energy during the day and provide a good instruction at the same time, be able to push myself as well.
That really is a lot. It is a lot because just training for a competition is so much work. On top of that, you're running a school. And so, do you teach all the classes?
Yes,
Or, like, how do you run it?
I teach all the classes, but recently I open new classes because I be able to uh, train some instructors. Since I open a school, I start training people for when we reach certain number, we be able to create more classes, open more classes. And I have been training some people. Now I have a purple belt that's running like a kids class with me. I have a in my studio. I have three mats, and one mat is Muay Thai, and I have a classes going on in two mats at the same time. So I have a two classes, two kids classes at the same time, and I have a right now a purple belt helping me with the kids. He teach one class, and I teach another one at the same time. And also, I have a female only class, and I have a two blue belts, four stripes, about to get the purple belt to just start teaching the women only class.
That's
And I
awesome.
have another purple belt that teach fundamental class at the same time when I run in advanced class. So right now I am like open more classes and give it to my instructors. So after 2 years training with me and prepare them, they already like familiar with my curriculum methodology,
Mhm.
and that's make it easy for me like a push them some classes.
That's super cool. And so you also offer Muay Thai, you said.
Yes, we have a Muay
Cool.
Thai. I think 1 year after we open a studio, we started running a Muay Thai, and Muay Thai is doing very well over here. It's with the crew Narapon. He's from from Thailand. Is a legitimate champion from there. So I don't think there is anybody else here in Tucson that's a legitimate Muay Thai guy. That's his class is pretty much traditional Muay Thai. So it's something really really legit.
That is super cool. And so, did I miss it? Did you also train Muay Thai in the
No,
past or?
because I tried to do some training in the beginning, but I was became too much for me, like I
Yeah.
have I hate workout, but I do
Yeah.
workout. I have a
Yeah.
full workout session here. I have a lot of equipment, and I do work out because to prevent injuries, stay strong. But between my physical training, my jiu-jitsu training, and my classes, and manage the business, so I prefer don't train Muay Thai. It was became too much.
Yeah. Absolutely. I also started doing Muay Thai. That's how I got into martial arts is Muay Thai and then Jiu-Jitsu and then like you said it became way too much to do both because
Yeah.
it's you have to dedicate so much time to just one. So imagine two. That's a lot. So completely understand. Um, I want to get your thoughts on competition. Do you think it's for everyone?
I believe so, but I think everybody can have experience. It's not for everyone, but everyone can try. So I think everybody can try to feel the adrenaline and understand if that adrenaline make you feel good or feel bad. I know I know a lot of people, black belts, that do not compete because they not be able to handle the adrenaline very well. They don't sleep a day, night before. Days, all those days between the competition is very stressful. And but for those people that's handle that adrenaline, they they feel like a really good. So we have a both sides, and I think everybody can try and then feel how it is. If you like it, keep going because I believe the competition is something that change your mentality, the way how you see the life. When you be able to manage that stress and like be able to when you're in a fight situation, I think there is a lot of benefits. If you be able to handle, of course, if the person have a bad experience and probably is better like a just stay in training because jiu-jitsu is beyond the competition, is a lifestyle. It's not necessarily have to compete, but for sure competition is something that's really can bring a lot of benefits.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the mindset part of jujitsu because it's huge. Now you're talking about like the adrenaline aspect of it. Do you think somebody can overcome the anxiety and adrenaline of competing, like before a competition? Do you think that they can overcome it, or like do you think they can work through that, or is this something that you can't? What are your thoughts?
For sure, I believe you can overcome that because even for those people that manage the adrenaline and the stress, it's still like the fear of lose, the fear of a bad performance. Even those competitors, I compete like since I'm blue belt. I remember to do one competition when I was white belt. So even if I stay a little bit, if I stay like a 2, 3 months away from the competition, my adrenaline is different when I do one with 1 month difference, the
Right.
distance. Like, so I have to deal with adrenaline as well. And exactly this, um, manage with adrenaline and control that. That's what's really is the biggest deal for a competitor. Because when you, doesn't matter if you compete for first time or for years, you're always going to have to manage that. So it's pretty normal you overcome that. I
Mm-hmm.
think like the people that not be able to overcome is those people like that's they probably not ready for compete, or they probably is not something that's gonna make them happy. But if you be able to overcome, and most of the people doesn't matter if it's a, in my opinion, if it doesn't matter if it's like a regular competitor or somebody that's gonna do for the very first time, always gonna have to manage that adrenaline and overcome that for sure.
Right. So, how do you train your students or how do you prepare your students for a competition? Because it's more than just the physical and the technical game, it's definitely the mindset and the mental game. So, how do you coach your students before going in?
So I have a bigger challenge here because for some reason my students love to compete, and sometimes they just join the gym like they want to compete right away, and I have to control them a little bit. Hey, calm down, slow down a little bit. You need understand the fundamental, the basics, and I think because I am a competitor and they see me traveling around the country and they feel motivated to do that.
Right.
But I always trying to provide like a competition classes, a certain level, a different level of training for them because for they don't be surprised when they got there. They sometimes they can some people think can do a light training and go to competition, and that's not gonna work. I
Right.
always to provide a trying to bring one competition atmosphere twice a week to the gym for specific classes, for advanced classes, where they feel how is a competition situation, competition scenario. So I think those competition classes plus always like a bring like a rules, bring like all the point system. I think like this, I can prepare them for have like good experience in competition. For competitor, every competitor know like doesn't matter how much you prepare, you're never gonna know how it's gonna be the result. But
Mm-hmm.
the important for me is my students when they go compete, they be able to perform well, and doesn't matter the result. I want to they feel like okay, I did a good job. I have a good time. Doesn't matter if it was a positive or negative result. This is my goal when I have somebody like that think and want to compete.
Right. So, excuse me, the competition classes that you offer, how do you run them? Like, how do you run them? How do you prepare your students for the competition day?
So usually my Tuesdays and Thursdays here, 6:30, I have those competition classes, 6 p.m. in the evening class. Um, so everybody, my students that is allowed to attend this class usually are students that have at least like 3 stripes white belts. They pass it to the fundamental, pass to the basics. But like I said, sometimes I have somebody that says are really excited to compete, as somebody that has some background with all the sports and a very skilled person, and eventually I can bring somebody that is a little lower rank than third stripe to this class. And during the class, like I said, I try to provide different like competition situations. Um, the training is usually like a very like a lot of drills and things that push the cardio. In the end, like a multiple rounds. That's just trying to bring that really like a competition feeling to the mat. Is why I need to require like at least like 4 stripes because
Mhm.
otherwise they're gonna have to slow down the class for somebody that's eventually is not prepared for it. But like I said, sometimes I have somebody's 2 stripes, but like I'm moving
Yeah.
very fast, understand everything really quick. And this person probably can open exception. We have
Got
a
it.
special case.
So, do you talk to your students about the rules at all during these classes or like
Yes,
the
I was refereeing until a little bit. I stopped referee like around like 1 year and a half ago, but I was like a referee pretty much all the tournaments that I was competing. And I am very like up to date about the rules, and I always talk about the rules, especially because we have different events that's run in different rules. I always try and keep my students very familiar with the IBJJF rules because it's exactly what type of tournament that we usually attend. AZBJJ because exactly follow the
hmm
IBJJF rules
right.
and IBJJF competition, IBJJF tournaments. That's make my life easy. Like I keep them up to date about those rules. If eventually they want to go to a different tournament like a ADCC or something that has a completely different rule set, and I do a specific training for those people that's going to go to those specific tournament. But in general, we always talk about point system. We always studying positions, analyzing the rules because a competitor without the rules, he go like a missing like a tools to be able to
hmm
fight, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. You definitely need to understand the point system. What about the kids? What about the kids? How do you teach them?
Kids is a little different because they don't think too much about the point system. They remember, they know what is 2 points, what is 3 points, four. But with the kids are very excited and the fights is really wide. And what I trying to teach for them is like stabilizing positions, like a
hmm
wait a little bit, don't rush for the next step, control a little bit more the adrenaline because they try move all the time, and sometimes they do 2 turns in an opponent and don't capitalize any points. But it's a little different from the adults because we gotta kids. We always have to make a mix between serious training plus something fun to
hmm
keep it interesting. But pretty much the same the same way that I teach adults to explain the technique, associate with the point system, and what I use for kids as well.
Awesome. Okay, so what about weight classes? Like, how do you guide your students regarding weight classes and cutting weight?
So when it's a first time competitor, I don't recommend they cut weight or do some type of training that they have to lose weight because it's one more thing that they have to deal with. I prefer they let's I recommend the person fight in that regular weight division. If somebody is like overweight, I
hmm
have to make like a probably one longer term preparation for this person lose weight little by little and then finally compete. But it's something with a short time. Probably I'm gonna tell the person, hey, don't worry about weight. Go in this division that you at now, and then we're gonna see how you feel. If you feel stronger, you can keep going in this division. But if you feel like everybody else was stronger than you probably have to lose weight, and then we figure out your weight division. Usually, I ask them to have this experience. They have to compete and then feel how it is, feel if they need like a lose weight or not. Is I know people is like a very they have a like a younger, especially they have a good metabolism, they lose weight pretty quick. But my
Mm-hmm.
masters usually is different. Master students, they have more difficult to lose weight, and especially because they work all day and come to train at
Right.
night, it's a different lifestyle. So every case is different, but I recommend they lose weight after have the experience, not never like for the very first time.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. So you're also an active competitor, you said. So how do you train for competitions? You specifically, because I know you have plenty of experience to share on that. So,
Yeah, so uh, for me is a big challenge because I train with my student. I have been doing my preparation along with my students since I moved to US pretty much. I don't have like a special training for me or something like that. What I do is try and always put myself in like a, if I have like a not higher rank to training, or if I don't have a black belt to train with me, I'm probably going to put myself in the back positions and work my weakness and uh, and try and bring some. Uh, I can increase the intensity of training to myself, putting myself in bad situations. This is what I do. Uh, but right now, the level of my students are increasing. They are getting better, and that's like automatically going to increase the level of training to me. So, but for me, it's the biggest challenge because like I said, I don't have a lot of black belts to train with. What I can do sometimes is visit all the places and looking for open mats that there is some black belts once in a
mhm.
while because I'm really busy here, just to give that like a competition adrenaline, a little bit different training. But pretty much I train with my students with my color belts and it's brown, purple belts. So I train with that. Pretty much my preparation is made in here.
That's very interesting. So you don't necessarily need to train with black belts. You can get good training for a competition, good preparation, just training with your students. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I can come over here and okay, I'm gonna smash everyone, submit everyone.
Mhm.
It's gonna be one type of training. But I also can show up here. Okay, today I'm gonna train this guard that I want to improve. It's gonna be a completely different training. Um, so I manage my training this way because it's
Mm.
different when you train it with a
Right.
uh, black belt a training camp, something like that. That every day you go to pretty much for a competition because black
Mm-hmm.
belt not gonna give you a lot of options. You're gonna be in trouble all the time,
Right.
and that's
More
good too.
competitive.
Yeah, it's good too because that's gonna put you in a reality about like a level of training, but you're not gonna be able to work too much your weakness. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that, but it's gonna be hard against like somebody black belt. There is a multiple ways for you manage the training. So my
Right.
style is like this, doing the level of a competition that I have here for me.
Awesome. So we know competitions are extremely nerve-wracking. How do you handle your internal battles? So we all know, like, once you're there, your mind starts racing. Am I going to do good? Am I not? You know, the anxiety comes up. How do you handle that mentally?
Yes, so it's a big challenge because sometimes you got injury and then you start like a doubt a little bit if you're gonna
Hmm.
perform well or not. And then you if you have an injury, you okay, now I have to be a little more precise about my techniques. I don't know if I can do everything. Otherwise, if I am like 100% and health, gas, everything good, I cannot let the confidence, the overconfidence too much and
Hmm.
eventually make mistakes. So I try to always think in every fight is something that I cannot make mistakes. I try like uh be very focused in my opponents and don't try doesn't matter if I am like with an injury or if I'm 100%. I try to keep a focus in one strategy. I
Mm-hmm.
always thinking about what I'm gonna do in a fight before I start the fight. I don't like to be uh, under somebody else's actions. I want to take take my actions first, and that give me like a in my for my strategy. That's like a give me more confident for fight or be like a comfortable in most of the situation.
Awesome. If you could give one piece of advice to somebody that's just about to compete for the very first time, what would you tell them?
I'm gonna tell them to study the rules. Yeah, very important they study the rules for their level. If it's a white belt, especially watch what is legal, what is illegal, a little bit about the point system, and try training in that the time that you usually fight. You fight 5 minutes. Try to do as many rounds as you can in that time, um, and have fun. Because positive results don't happen every time, and I think the biggest champions they always had to some pass through some defeats and overcome that feeling to become a real champion. We have a much more examples uh, about competitors, world champions that like they got beat up much more times until they start to win one fight. So
I love
I
that.
believe, yeah. So I think the most important is to understand the rules for you don't commit like mistakes and end up like applying a legal technique, something that's gonna take you out of the fight and or hurt somebody or hurt yourself and have fun.
Love to hear that. Okay, so lastly, we're coming up on the last question here. We want to know your thoughts on the Arizona Jiu-Jitsu League events. We've seen you out there. Do you think we're doing well? Honest feedback. Let us know.
I am really impressed with what the federation has been done here in Arizona. Like I said, I'm traveling all over the country. I ref in multiple different tournaments. I ref once a couple of times for AZBJJ, and the way how they set up the tournament, the organization, the level of the referees, I think everything is great. So, and as I'm impressed with how it's getting bigger. Every time I go to the tournament, when I see the crowd, there's a lot of people, a lot of families. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that type of level of tournament outside of Arizona. I
Right.
went to I already like compete in RAF competitions in Florida, uh, in California, both sides of the country, and it's very hard to see something that level. I'm really impressed with how big it has become and how organized it's still going.
That is awesome to hear from you, especially because you travel so much. So
Mhm.
that's really cool to know that we're on a different level. So
For sure.
thank you so much for sharing. And we have the state event coming up next Saturday. So are you bringing a big crew with you, or what's going on?
This I took a lot of students for the last competition. This one specifically, I am like with the fewer because I had another group going to the nationals in Vegas, so it's
Oh,
gonna
come
be
on.
yeah. It was like they schedule is pretty crazy,
Hmm.
to keep those students like so. The reason why we take more people this time for national because some of those people they want to make points in the ranking. Kids for the pen kids and adults for the world masters.
Hmm.
And IBJJF competition is not happening a lot here. And when they have a chance to make some points, they prioritize those competition. But AZBJJ is always in our calendar, is always in our schedule, has an option for our students to compete. I like the environment, it's safe for my kids, is good for the masters too. Uh, IBJJF rules, so I like everything.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we see you competing there one of these days. I know you have, but we want to see more of you eventually.
Yeah,
um,
you will.
awesome. And so, lastly, where can people find out more about you in the school? Do you have social media?
Yes, I have my personal social media. Uh, Andre Freire on Facebook, Instagram Andre F. Doc BJJ, and Carlson Gracie Tucson. My social media is very connected with my the school social media, and also the website carlsongracietucson.com. You can see all the classes that we offer. Um, you can see pictures of the facility and Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. So nice getting to know you and a little bit more about the school. So we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. Thank you for the
All right.
opportunity to talk, and I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Andre.